Hi, everybody. Today can go either one of two ways. So my ultimate goal is to be able to implement some very rudimentary 3D audio. Like I would love for it to sound like sounds are coming from different directions, from the right, above, whatever. So I don't know how advanced I can get with that. I don't know if I need to use another library or if I have the ability to do it with what I have now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time to kind of investigate Audio 2. That's the current library I'm emitting sounds with. See what kind of functionality it has. And if I could implement 3D audio myself, that would be better. I would much rather do that. But if not, if it seems too complex or impossible, then I will have to use, I think Microsoft's has X3D audio, something like that. It seems like some kind of wrapper around X Audio 2 that will do all the 3D calculations. But like I said, I'm going to try to do all that myself first. So wish me luck. So what I got now is when I run it, I just got very basic 8-bit sawtooth sound. I have it very, very quiet right now because I'm just really worried about A, destroying my ears, and B, destroying somebody else's speakers and their ears. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It seems very sensitive, so I don't want to go too much. Okay, I'm going to stick with that volume there. I don't know if that's too loud for anybody. But actually, maybe I can do like split the difference between the two. All right, I can hear that. Hopefully everybody else can hear that and it's not too loud. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of investigate this and see what it takes to play multiple sounds. I want to try to get two sounds going simultaneously, see what it takes to do that, and then go from there. So I'm playing a sound when I press the space key by doing all of this. I don't know if this is the most elegant way to do it. I don't know if I have to flush the buffer every time. But it seems like that's the way they want you to do it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a quick detour. I'm going to make this, because all this if else if does is checks to make sure that a key is only pressed one time. And I don't know if there's got to be a smarter way to do this, but I'm going to I'm going to put it in a function that basically does the same thing. But to keep track of what key is being pressed, I'm going to make another Boolean array here. I'm going to call it key state. No, key tracking. I don't know. So I'll just stick with that for now. It's just basically this Boolean here. This space down. I'm going to make a new Boolean for every key just to check if it's already been down, pressed down or once or not. So basically, I'm going to basically do that. And then let me close out a lot of this stuff I don't need here. That's better. Okay, so let's go here and I'm going to make a function above initialize game state. Call it, that's going to return a Boolean. And I'm going to call it key pressed once. So this will tell you true if a key has been pressed one time, but it won't continue to tell you true if the key is continually held down. Pretty self-explanatory. So then it's just going to take a U32 for which key, and it's going to do something along the lines of this, not all of this. Okay, so if this is the case, we're going to return true, and then if we don't return true, then we're going to return the other one. All right, so now I need to get all this stuff from the key, or from the game state. So this is a bool pointer key inputs. That's equal to the address. No, actually, it's just the states key inputs. So that should take care of that. The key is going to get passed in, so that's all I need to put there. And this is going to be state key tracking at key. And then That's going to be turned to true. That's going to be false. And then this should also be key. All right, I think that's it. I think that will do all of this, but in one convenient if statement. So I can now say if, oops, what am I doing? If key pressed once, and I got to pass in the address to the game state, provided that I can spell it. There it is. And then I need to pass in which key, which is also held inside the game state. That's in my input codes dot key space. So if the space is pressed once, then I want to do these things. All right, so let's see if that still works. Cool, it works. It plays it once and only once. That is cool. Oh yeah, let me ultimate test. All right, cool. That's working. And it's a lot more convenient. So now I can just pass in a different key to see if it was only pressed once. And so let's see, what do I want to do? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is make another sound to play. So I have this sound bite here. I don't need to copy that. So I'm just going to make a whole new sound. I'm going to call it soundbite 2. And this one is going to be a little higher frequency, right? No. Yeah. Yeah, the frequency will be higher. 64. So I'm submitting the buffer each time, right? So I need to make a whole nother buffer as well, I think. That will be soundbite 2. So everything's the same, just the second soundbite's higher frequency. And then I'm going to copy all of this to see if I can play 2 sounds at the same time. So let's see, I'm going to use the, I don't know, P key. Let's see, something closer. So let's use the G key. So G for the other sound. So submit. Okay, so this is going to submit audio buffer 2, and let's see what happens now. So I run it. Oops. Okay, so that's the original sound, and there's a new sound. Okay, yeah, obviously I forgot I'm stopping and flushing the buffer. So let me see if I undo that, if they'll both play at the same time. Oops, keep forgetting. Okay, no, so it doesn't play at the same time. What it does is it queues them up and plays them sequentially. So I believe if I want to play 2 sounds simultaneously, I need a second one of these source voices. So let me try that. Let me create a second one, have the second sound use the second voice, and see if they both play at the same time. I presume they would. I don't see why they wouldn't. So let me then do this here. Copy all of that. Source voice 2, source voice 2, take the same, that thing, and then make sure I lower the volume of that, which I also have this mastering voice here. Does that also have a volume? So if I just set the volume of the mastering voice, does that do all of the other sub voices? That's what I'm trying to find out. Let me Google that in the docs here. So that's, what is it called again? This thing. So this thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it also inherits this X audio to voice, which would mean that it also has the ability to set the volume. So that's good if that changes the volumes for all the other voices at the same time. Let's see. So let's then do this. So I create the mastering voice, and then we'll say P master voice set volume. It just takes a float, right? A float, and then this thing, which is nothing. So yeah, so 0.002. I probably want to do all this error checking. Wait, it does, yeah, H result. And I'll say could not lower master, or not technically lower, it could not set the master volume. That sounds good. Okay, so let's see if that works. Okay, I don't hear anything, but it might be because this is lowering it on top of whatever this is lowering it. So now let's do this. Let's comment these out. And let me see. I don't know if this doesn't work, then I apologize. Okay, cool. Yes, that works. So lowering the volume on the master voice does lower the volume respectively on all of the sub voices. So I don't need to do that for each voice. That's good. And then that'll give me a easy access point to change the master volume for all audio when I get to that point, I assume. All right, so then, okay, so yeah, then that could now use P source voice 2. And then I probably want to undo these and put source voice 2 there as well. So now let's see if they will both play simultaneously. Yeah, that's working. And if I play them at just the right time, it makes a third note. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like every time I want to play a new sound, I gotta have this new voice thing here. But you know what? Let me start cleaning some of this up. So I think these here can be global. They seem like they're going to be needed everywhere. So let me rename these to something more accustomed to what I would name them. So I'll call this X audio to pointer, and then I'll call this X audio to master voice. All right, so that's that. Probably need this a lot more places. There. And there. Okay, so now this has to go to there and there. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see if I get any other errors. And I don't. Everything still works. Yes, it does. Okay. So what's next? Okay, I'm gonna start trying to abstract this away. So I'm gonna start trying to get it so that I can play sounds from the game, not just hear from the main loop or from the main function. So let me see. I'm gonna kind of copy what I did with the texture. So how I made just a void pointer and then kind of made it like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call it a audio emitter. So anything that emits audio is gonna need one of these for now. So then we're gonna have a void pointer for the actual emitter. I'm gonna call it emitter. That's gonna be the struct for the voice thing, the X audio to voice. And then probably the buffer too, right? Buffer. And then whenever you have a buffer, you should probably always keep track of how big that buffer is. And yeah, so that's probably all I need for now. I might need to add to it. So let's do that. Let's make a function up here that creates one of those. So static, it returns a audio emitter. I'll call it create audio emitter. And for now, everything's it's just gonna be single channel. So for now, hard coded in there as single channel. So all I'm gonna put in here is the buffer data. So I'll just call it data, and then how big that data is. So U32 data size. And so this is going to make an audio emitter, and eventually that is what it's going to return. Okay, so to do that, what do I need? So I need one of these and one of these. Let me put that in here first. So the format's going to be that. It's always going to be one channel for now. The tot is now data size. Block line. So then this is end of stream. This is also data size. This is just data. This is also data size. And since these are all 0, it's getting zeroed out here anyway. I can probably delete all of this. And you too. So that is that. And then I need to create one of these. All right, but it's not going to use that. It's going to use the emitter inside of that. So that means I need to then use AE's emitter. But that emitter has to get cast to this. I don't know if I have to put another set of parens around this or not. Let's try it. X audio 2 pointer undeclared identifier. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was supposed to make those global. I never did. Let's put those right below all the DirectX stuff. And this one. There we go. And that shouldn't really change anything, because I'm not calling the method or function, and I don't even know if it's complete yet. I think so. Oh wait, I'm not really doing anything with the buffer because I'm pretty sure it has to persist. It has to stay in memory. But if I'm just creating it here, I don't want to have to allocate it dynamically. Okay, let me think about how I'm going to play this audio emitter first, and then maybe the answer will provide itself. So let's say static void play audio emitter. It's going to take in an audio emitter. I'm just going to take it in as by copy for now, and then if it gets really big and bulky, then I'll pass it in as a pointer. But right now it's just two pointers and a length, 2 pointers and an integer. Okay, so what is actually playing my sounds here? It's all of this. And so I don't have a source voice, but I can get one from here. So that then now has to be a E dot emitter, and I gotta cast that again, just like I did here. In fact, let me copy the whole thing. And then, I don't know if that is right. Let me just try all of these. Hold on. Now that's going to give me problems because I need that here. Let me see. Does this compile? No. Check error. Oh, I need one more. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, so that compiles, but I'm not going to even run that because I know it's not going to work. Because I need to figure out how to get this audio buffer. Okay, you know what? This is all, everything's temporary till it's not. So I'm going to put this here, actually. I'm going to create a new buffer every time I'm submitting data. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my audio emitter, I'm going to have its buffer point to data and then update the buffer size to the data size. So for now, and maybe forever, I don't know, but I basically have to make sure this data stays in memory. I can't delete it as long as I want to play the audio that's contained within that data. For now. So now audio bytes is going to be AE's buffer. No, buffer size. And then this is going to be the AE's buffer. And this is also AE's buffer size. Okay, does it compile? No. 571. Oh, I forgot you. Left you in the dust. Now it compiles. Now it runs playing the sounds the old way I was doing it, but now I want to clean up all of this stuff. So let's get rid of this, all of that. Let's make just a Futsu audio emitter. I'll call this emitter1 equals create audio emitter. I'm going to pass in the data from soundbite, and that is tote long. So then here, instead of doing all of this, I'm going to say play audio emitter, passing in E1. And that does not file. So P sort, okay, that would make sense. I deleted that, didn't I? So let me get rid of that for now. All right. So that sound is working. The other one's not because I disabled it, but that means I can now presumably get rid of all of this. Maybe a bit premature, but we'll see. What are you doing? Go. There we go. All right, so I'm going to call this E2. This is going to be soundbite 2. And this is going to play soundbite 2. All right, everything's great. Everything's working. So far, so good. Now, let's see. What do I want to do this time? Okay, so let me see what this source voice can do. So I can start, stop it. I think all the good stuff is here. So I'm gonna look at the set channel volumes. So if it's a two channel audio clip, the 2-channel buffer, and if I could control the volumes of each channel individually, then in theory I should be able to put in my own directional audio. So I should be able to put the audio higher on the right channel if the sound is coming from the right, and vice versa for the left. what else can I do? I can set. So I got all these effects here. I don't know. I don't want to get too complicated with it. Oh, there's more stuff here. Oh no, this is the same stuff. Oh, whoa. Here I could set the frequency ratio. So if I can adjust the frequency, then again, in theory, I should be able to do Doppler shifting as well. And I don't know if I want anything more complicated than that, especially not tonight. Let me test this set frequency ratio and see if that works. So let me do this. Okay, so after I create audio emitter 1, let's do this. E1 dot emitter. And I'm going to have to cast that, aren't I? All right, so if I take that emitter, now I can call the functions from that emitter and call set frequency ratio. I probably should look up what this method even does. So it sets the frequency adjustment ratio of the voice. That's exactly what I thought it would do. So here I just pass in ratio and presumably nothing there. So float. Okay, so it's exactly what I would think. Like, so 1 is nothing, 2 is twice the frequency, 0.5 is half the frequency. Pretty intuitive. Thank you for making sense. So then, yeah, so let's try to up the frequency by 2. Is that all I need to do? And it does do that H result thing. So just to be proper, let's do this. Could not change, I'll say voice frequency. I don't remember what the old one was like. Let me not do that here. Oh, okay, yeah, that was way lower than if I do this one. It's higher. It's the same, actually, it's the exact same frequency as this buffer. It's just it's playing for half the length because it's only got half the amount of data. But anyway, yeah, so that works. So cool. So if I can set the frequency, then I can presumably, again, in theory, add my own Doppler effect. Then what was the other one? Set. There was something else I was looking at. Set channel volumes, yes. So here I have to say the number of channels and a float pointer. Okay, presumably, again, presumably, this will be however many floats are in this array or pointer or whatever. Okay, but I can't test that because as far as I know, well, I guess I can try. But you know what I would rather do? Well, yeah, let me just try it. I don't think it's gonna work because I think my buffer, my audio bytes have to be double channel, but it's all single channel right now. So what am I doing? Oh yeah, so here, so I don't need to set the frequency. I'll just comment that out for now. All right, so set channel volume. There's going to be 2 channels, and the volumes of the 2 channels will get put in here. So F32 new channels is equal to, now is it master? Does it go by total volume? I'm gonna assume it's like a ratio of 0 to 1. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that it's intuitive. So if I put 0, 0, then it should play nothing. And it still plays something. Again, so I think it's because I'm trying to say 2 channels, but it's only 1 channel. So what if I just put 1 channel here? I'm missing something. 684. Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I wasn't even doing any of this. Okay, so I need to put that back because I don't even think I tested that properly. Could not, what is it? Set channel volumes. Okay, so then it gives me that error. And again, I think it's because it's 2 channel, or it's 1 channel. I'm trying to say it's 2 channels, but it's not. Yeah, but it works with 1 channel. So now I'm going to actually try to make this 2 channels of data. So I'm going to double the amount of size it is. So then I need to go plus equals 2, and then so every second byte is just the exact same as the one before it. In fact, I don't need to do the recalculation either. This, okay, so again, this is going to be I plus 1 is equal to the one before it. All right, so the data is now double the size with every second bit the same as the one prior. And now I need to tell my audio emitter that the sound I'm passing in has 2 channels. The number of samples per second is, I believe it's that divided by 2 now because it's twice the number of samples. Yeah, and then the average bytes per second is data size. And the block align is now 2. And the bits per sample, is that per sample per channel or not? I don't know, I'm gonna leave that for now. And let's see, coming back up here. So the audio bytes, the buffer size, play length. So now the play length is half the size of the buffer because it's 2 channel. Piles, cannot set volumes, cannot set channel volumes. Oh, okay, because now it might be working because I'm putting 2 channels in. Oh, it worked. So now if I put these to 1, what happens? What if I do 1 and 0? Hey, it works. It's coming completely out of the left. And if I do the opposite, yeah, it's working. Okay, cool. I can do this. I think I can do this. This is good. This is good. So then what am I going to do now? So every time I want to play an audio emitter, I'm going to have to calculate. So after I stop it, after I flush, after I submit the buffer, right before I start it, I'm going to need to play or adjust the left and right channel. I'm going to delete this for now. Okay, so I need a bunch of things here. I need to know where the emitter's coming from. I need to know where the listener is. I need to know the listener's forward vector, right? Because if two things are looking at each other, their dot product is negative. If they're both going the same way, the dot product's 1. If they're perpendicular, the dot product's 0. So I could basically use that to determine how much to play out of each speaker. Just gotta figure out how. So let me do this. Let me put some stuff in here. So let me make a vector 3 for the emitter position, a vector 3 for the listener position, and a vector 3 for the listener's forward. Well, if I presume that the camera is always the listener, then I want the camera's right angle, because then I can use the right angle to tell how close that is to the sound. And I know this isn't physically accurate, but basically what I'm trying to do is have it so that if your right ear is facing the object, you'll get 100% of the sound in the right ear, 0% of the sound in the left ear. If you're facing the object, the emitter perfectly head on, then you'll get 50% from in each ear, and then opposite for the left ear. So if I get the dot product of the angle from the listener's right to the angle from the emitter to the camera, then that should give me all the information I need. So let's see. Okay, let me just focus on the direction now. I don't even know if I have a dot product function in my math class. Dot. I do not. So let me add a dot product. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think I remember the formula for a dot product. I'll put it here. I'll put it right above the cross product here. So static returns a float, dot takes in 2 vectors, and the dot product is the product of every component added together. v1.x times v2.x, v1.y times v2.y, v1.z times v2. Okay, dot product complete. So the dot product is going to be, so F32, I'll call this ang, is equal to, you know what I'm going to do? Before I do this here, I'm going to do it down in the main loop, and so that way I can debug print it, and I'm not going to run the risk of blaring some obscene sounds from my speakers and headphones. So yeah, let's just do this here. So let me calculate what that was. So F32, I'll call this dot, is equal to the dot product. Actually, I probably shouldn't call that dot since I have a function called dot. I'll call this dp for dot product is equal to the dot product of, so I need the emitter's position. So we'll just say it's emitting from the center of the world. And then I need to subtract that from my listener, which is my camera. So that's going to be my game state dot camera dot position. And I always forget that my camera is actually opposite of everything. So I want to do the negative of my camera. And I don't know if I want to, I probably should fix that at some point. Anyway, so I'm getting the dot product of that vector with the camera's right vector. Oh yeah, and well, I'm getting function does not take one argument. Okay, well actually put these on hold for now. And so this will be dp's value percent %f, and we're going to put dp there. Okay, so the center of this character's feet is where the sound would be emitting from. So if I look directly at it, it's 0. If I look completely to the left, it goes up to about 4 and then back down. And then same for the other side. So I think I gotta normalize this here. And the camera's right should already be normalized. So if I do that, okay, yeah, so that's better. So then it goes from negative, so if I look completely to the left of the sound, it's +1. If I go completely to the right of the sound, it goes, wait, 0. Wait, no, 0 is looking right at it. +1 is, or no, -1's to the right. +1's to the left, okay. So let me then normalize that. Let me put that between 0 and 1. So let's say now dp is equal to dp plus 1 times, actually is divided by 2. I want to do that first. Oops. I keep forgetting it's a float. Okay, so yeah, if I look directly at it, it's 0.5. To the right is 0. To the left is +1. Okay, so I think I can work with that. So let me use this here. And we'll put this here. And then I want to do this. In fact, I'll just cut that from there. Here, okay, so there. So when I'm calculating these, I want, so when I was looking to the right, let me check again. So I'm looking to the right, it's 0. When I look to the left, it's 1. So I'm looking to the left, I want it to be 1. So I'm gonna keep it as dp here on the right speaker. But when I'm looking to the right, I want maximum in the left, so that's gonna be 1 minus dp. Is that right? Okay, this isn't gonna, I don't have E1 somewhere. Oh yeah, because this is gonna now be AE, and that should do it. Okay, so nothing's gonna play because I disabled this. So after the audio emitter, I'm going to then, I'm gonna put here just so the emitter's position is 0, the cameras, or the listener's position is negative, the game state's camera, and the listener, it's not actually the listener's forward anymore. I should change that. Listener's right. And so yeah, these are actually supposed to be this whole time. listener's right. This is the listener's position. And this is the emitter's position. Oh yeah, I'm not finished with this because that is now going to be GameState.camera.right vector. Okay, let's see if this works. I don't know. Okay, I hear it from both. Ooh, I hear it from the left. I hear it from the right. I hear it partially from both. I think this is working. Well, it's closer to working. It's not perfect because once the sound starts, it's playing from the correct direction, but that direction is persistent depending on how long the sound plays. Like, so from the beginning of the sound to the end of the sound, it's going to play from the same ratio from each speaker. So I think I have to update it more like often than that. So I think I'm going to have to actually break this up into two functions. So I got play the audio emitter, but then I need a separate function to update it. So I'm going to call this update audio emitter dynamics. And it's going to take all of the same stuff. But then now this function doesn't need any of this because all of this is now, oops, moving on up. Okay, so that should, let me see now here. So I can get rid of that, and I could probably uncomment that. And everything should be, yeah, okay, so everything's right back to normal. So now I don't need to print any of this stuff anymore. I want to then update audio emitters dynamics. So we're going to pass in emitter 1. We're going to say that its position is the center. We're going to say that the listener's position is again negative the camera. Oops, camera. Game state camera dot position. And then this one is the game state's camera's right vector. Okay, so let's see if that works. It compiles. Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah, as I pan from right to left, the sound goes from right to left in my headphones. Okay, so that one's not working because I didn't call the function to update it. Let's see. So this is going to be emitter 2. Let's put this one at the light position. Game state dot light dot position. So it'll sound like the light's emitting the higher pitch noise. There we go. Okay, so the direction is working. The only thing that would make it better is if the distance played an effect, because at this point, no matter how far I get from the source, I hear it as if I'm right there next to it. So I need to now come up with a way to make the volume lower based on how far away I am. And that's pretty, I mean, again, nothing that I'm doing tonight is physically accurate at all. Like, I just want to get it to appear that it's working, give it the illusion of working, and then make it better. So I'm going to pick some arbitrary distance. I'm going to say 10 meters. After 10 meters, you can't hear the sound anymore. So to do that, I need to get the length of basically the length of this. So let me break this up a little bit here. So vector 3, I'll call this E to L. So the emitter to the listener is equal to this. E to L, and then I want to normalize that. So vector 3 E to L is normal of E to L. All right, does that work? I forget how my own functions work, so I have to compile very often. Okay, so that seems like it's working. So then I want to, wait, no, I don't want to get the normal of that. I want the actual length. What am I talking about? Yeah, I don't need to normalize the length. What do I, oh yeah, so I need a float. There we go. So that's gonna get the length of E to L. There we go. And then, yeah, because I'm normalizing it there. But here, I don't need to normalize it. So once I have the length, I could then calculate, I'm just going to use the same variable. So length is now equal to, how would I do this? So 10 minus length divided by 10. So if the length is 10, 10 minus 10 is 0, 0 divided by 10 is 0, so you won't hear any sound. If the length is 0, you're right on top of the emitter. 10 minus 0 is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. You will hear maximum sound. Sounds good to me. Let's see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually change this. I'm going to use my fancy vector 2. I'm going to call this NC. So this is 1 minus dp and dp. And then we're going to say ncs.x times equals length ncs.y times equals the length. Get rid of u, and then I'm going to put nc's v for something. Okay, yeah, let's see. Does that work? Okay, so it works. I was hoping that once this became negative, it wouldn't play negative sounds, but it seems like it's doing that. It's just taking the positive value. It's like taking the absolute value of it or something. So basically, I need to get the maximum of either this or 0. I'm going to make a function for that because I might need to use that a lot later. Let's put it right here below my XOR shift. So we'll say static, say F32 maximum of V1 or V2, and what we're going to return is V1 greater than V2? If so, return V1. If not, return V2. Yeah, so now this is going to be the maximum of either that or 0. Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. And yeah, as I get closer to the light and I play the other sound, it gets closer to my camera. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. This all seems to be working well, and I don't have to use X3D audio. I was scared. That library was intimidating me. But if I had only known that with X-Audio 2 I can do all of this stuff myself, then I would have been a lot more relaxed about going into this. But it seems like it's all good. I don't know. I want to keep doing something. I'm kind of tired of messing with audio. Those tones are getting irksome. Let me see. Is there anything else I can clean up with this? I guess these are just all test stuff. There's this thing here. Yeah, the whole reason I did this is because I wanted to try to compile my game code dynamically, so I don't have to exit the game code. I could just compile it and then have it update. I think maybe I'll start that. Maybe I'll try to see how far I can get with that process. I don't think it's going to be hard. I think maybe it isn't really hard. Let me copy all that. So then let me make a key. Let's make it the P key. So I'm going to say if key pressed once, then I'm going to pass in the game state. Okay, so if that happens, we're going to do some modification of this here. So I need to reload this. I don't need to redefine it as an H module. But before I can reload it, I have to free the handle. So I think it's just free library. Yeah, and it'll tell you true. So we'll say here, if free library, actually, so if not free library, we'll just do the most stupid thing and return 1 right now. Okay, so we're going to free library, then we're going to reload it, check if it's all good. If it is, then we're going to pull out a, we don't need to redefine that. We don't need to redefine that. We're going to reset that back to 0, set that equal to the get proc address, and then check if it's all good, and continue going. So how can I? Okay, so I'm gonna make another build file here. I'll call this build game.bat. Sure, but it's all, yeah, so it's not going to do any of the OS compilation. It's only going to compile the game code. So let me set up a new task for that. Figure default build task. I don't think I need that. Okay, so I'm going to make a new task called win build game that only runs that other script I made. Maybe I'll combine it into one script, but for now this is the way I'm going to do it. So now I need to make a hotkey for that. So keys, keyboard shortcuts, yeah. Okay, so Control B compiles my game. I'm going to make it Control plus Shift B to compile only the game. So that would be win build game. All right, so if I do Control Shift B now, it compiles everything. Oh wait, maybe I don't want to do Control Shift B because I think it's also running that. So let me do Control. Can't use Control C. Let me just do Control N because it's close to B. Why is it compiling everything though? Oh, duh, I still have to fix the task to run build game. So now if I run Control N, there it goes. Okay, so it only compiles that. So now maybe I can still use Control Shift B. There we go. All right, so that's working. So let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And so now, whenever I press the P key, I want to free the library and try to run. Okay, so now I think if I'm running my game, and then I press Control Shift B, I get a link error because, oh yeah, so I'm using the file that I'm trying to overwrite to. So what I want to do instead is copy it and then load the copy of the file. Right? Yeah, I think I want to do that. I don't think it's that difficult to do. So copy file. That's what I want. So I don't think I need to overthink that. So let's do this now. So let's say if not copy file, and then the file we're going to open is this one. We're going to copy it into, I'm going to just call it that copy, and then fail if exists. No, I don't want to fail if it exists, I don't think. So if that's the case, then again, just return 1. Oh. There we go. Okay, so then this should also open the copy, and then I need to copy that, put that here, and then we want to open the copy. All right, so now if I run my game and I come over here, close that, and then I run Control Shift B to just compile that, it does compile. All right, so now the ultimate test, can I edit the code in my game, compile it, and have it update with the press of a P key? Oh, you know, I wasn't even pressing P. So P doesn't do anything. Okay, so let's do this now. So we'll run this game, put it over here. Come over here. Let's do this. Let's change the clear color. So we'll say states clear color equals vector 4. Let's make it red. All right, so I do that. I press Control Shift B. It compiles. I come back to my game. I press P. And the clear color changes to red. Yes, so I could now change the code in my game without having to close it out every time. I think next time I'll come up with a better way so I don't have to press a key. Like I want it to just kind of update automatically. But that's cool. I like that. That's a good starting place. And I think that's a good stopping place as well. I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. Let me save what I got. I made a lot of good progress today. Git add everything. Git commit started 3D audio. Git push. All right, that's saved. I'm out of here. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope I get to see you next time. Enjoy.